The track record to date is not good, and Iran has given us zero reason to think things will get better. One year ago this week, the United States agreed to a nuclear deal with Iran, a deal that would, we were told, prevent the world's foremost sponsor of terrorism from getting a nuclear weapon. Here's what President Obama had to say then.
This deal demonstrates that American diplomacy can bring about real and meaningful change. Change that makes our country and the world safer and more secure.
Now, considering several of the claims the president made about the deal at the time turned out not to be exactly true, it's fair to ask, are we really safer and more secure? Unfortunately, the reality is that the nuclear deal may slow, but it does not halt Iran's path to developing nuclear weapons. Most of the key restrictions in the deal are lifted in 10 to 15 years, and that timeline could shorten overnight, as Iran can walk away from the deal at any time with few repercussions. That should give little assurance to anyone not drinking the White House Kool-Aid that the U.S. is the one in the driver's seat. Additionally, Iran was allowed to keep thousands of its centrifuges, which can and have been used for enriching uranium. While we were told international inspectors would have 24/7 access to inspect Iran's nuclear sites to make sure such activity isn't still occurring, it turns out that didn't mean all sites. Silly us. And inspections at any sites not referenced in the deal could be delayed for months. Plenty of time for the Iranians to play hide and seek with any activities and experiments they aren't supposed to be engaged in. Now, all that said, if there was one iota of evidence that this deal was somehow turning Iran into a more benevolent and trusted actor on the world stage, then maybe, just maybe, we could be more optimistic. But once again, reality paints a bleaker picture. Iran's behavior has not changed. Let's take a look at a few examples. Since the nuclear deal was reached, Iran has escalated its military intervention in Syria and continues to stoke the war in Yemen and the Shia-Sunni sectarian divisions in Iraq. Last December, Iran launched rockets within 1,500 yards of a U.S. aircraft carrier in the Persian Gulf, and 1 month later flew drones over U.S. warships. Iran has blatantly disregarded UN Security Council resolutions banning it from conducting ballistic missile tests. As you may recall, one of the ballistic missiles shot off by Iran last March had the phrase, "Israel should be wiped off the face of the earth," written on its side in Hebrew. You can understand why Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wasn't all warm and fuzzy over this deal. Then there was a very provocative move against the U.S. last January, when Iran captured, disarmed, and humiliated 10 American sailors who mistakenly drifted into Iranian territorial waters. And just this month, a report was released by German intelligence. That's right, not Republicans on Capitol Hill, but German intelligence released findings showing Iran had made extensive attempts to procure illicit materials, in particular, the kind used in nuclear technology. But we're told, be patient, ignore Tehran's bad and dangerous behavior, because ultimately, this wonderful deal will empower the moderates in Iran to overtake the hardliners. It will increase communication and trade with the rest of the world. Nope. That's not happening. Just look at the trade deals signed between Iran and foreign powers since sanctions were lifted. The major beneficiaries have not been private companies that might actually be interested in opening up commerce with the West. No, the winners in such deals have been the giant state-owned Iranian enterprises. The track record to date is not good, and Iran has given us zero reason to think things will get better. So, ladies and gentlemen, 1 year in,
That's the deal. That's the deal.
And it continues to be a very bad deal for America and the rest of the world.